So this is an enlarged copy of a pricking so that you can see the detail of what's in there. So these things, I'm going to call them for now, are called spiders. So we'd call this a two-legged spider, but obviously you can see that there's actually 8 legs to it, or 8 lines coming into the centre. And we call it two-legged because there's 2 legs coming in from each side. So there'll be pairs that come down here, pairs that come down here, pairs that go out, and pairs that go out. So a spider is just these lines. It's not the lines surrounding it. So it has a single pinhole in the centre. But you either have to secure a spider by the ground that's around it, or by another spider. So let me move my sheet up. So what you can see further down the page that I've got, let me just straighten that up, is at the bottom here I've got some variations on spiders. So this is the one that we've got, the two-legged spider. That's how it would appear on a pattern. Here we've got what's known as a three-legged spider. There are 3 lines in on each side. Here is a 4. And here is something slightly different. So there's no surrounding there. The lines are just together. This is known as a compound spider. So you go straight from one spider, not into ground, but straight into another spider. And that's why the spider is just that central part and not whatever surrounds it. So this is a photograph, a very enlarged photograph of the lace that we are going to work. And it's slightly unusual because you can't really see the spiders in it, and that's sort of deliberate. Because what I want people to focus on in this first pattern, which I call just spiders, because it is principally spiders, is I want them to concentrate on getting the pairs in the right position. And by using different colours on each leg of a spider and around the spider, what you get to see is that the threads do go in the right position. So you do see in the centre, you've got red. It's not as easy to see because it's not as dominant a colour, but you have got the orange. You can see an orange centre to that spider if you look carefully. Then you've got yellow, and the yellow goes in and then down to the next lot of spiders. Then we've got green, which again is travelling, blue, and then we've got two purple. So it's rainbow, but I've done that deliberately so that you see the colours. Yes, they will move out very slightly at the end of a section, but then the stitches that we're going to use mean that they will come straight back in. So it's another test that you are using the correct stitches for the pattern. So before we start working, I'm going to talk you through the working diagram. This pattern starts off with a diagonal row of half stitch, because that's a green cross, pin, half stitch. So half stitch, pin, half stitch, half stitch, pin, half stitch, all along that diagonal. So that's going to be setting up our pairs for our work. Then we go into a spider. Now that spider looks like it's a bit uneven. The spider's in purple. So I know it looks quite blue, but that was the purple that I was using. It is quite a bluey purple, unfortunately. So it looks uneven because it looks like there's the dash means a twist on a pair. So that's got 1 dash on each of the legs, because we do call them legs of the spider. And this has got 2 coming out. So it looks like it might be quite even. So we have to still think slightly differently in terms of what the working diagram says and what our lace is telling us. So I'm going to tell you that each spider has a number of twists normally, certainly on the smaller ones, for the number of legs. So we call this a two-legged spider. So when we go into the central working of the spider, each pair going into it will have 2 twists on it. Each pair coming out will have 2 twists. So how does that work with our half stitch? Our half stitch gives us 1 twist on a pair coming out of it, and then we add 1 more. So we've got 1 from the half stitch, we add an extra twist, so that means that that leg now has 2 twists on it. At the end of a spider, we're coming out in half stitch, in cloth stitch. Cloth stitch has no twists, so we add 2 twists to it. So that means we have 2 twists that we're adding, and we have 2 twists here, one that comes from a half stitch and one that's an extra twist that we add. So we always check before we do the spider that we have 2 pairs. But if you notice, we have the same on the next group here, the next spider. So similar argument, everything will have 2 twists, but these are cloth stitch and twist, cloth stitch and twist. So the and twist is important because you can see the and twist on the after the pin is going to give you 1 twist on it already. So you're going to add 1 extra twist. So that is why the working diagram is like that. Okay, I will look in more detail at what's going on in the centre separately in a minute. So just to explain what happens here. So after our cloth stitch and twists, what happens is the pairs travel down. So the one that's coming to here to work another cloth stitch and twist. So the red is cloth stitch and twist. So it's red, pin, red, cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. There are no extra dashes on that line. We've not added any extra twists. But on the pair that comes out of here and comes straight down, we need to add 2 more. The pair that comes down on the very edge, we're going to add 4 twists in total. So I'm going to have this working diagram pinned on my pillow as I'm doing the lace. So let me explain what's actually happening within that cloth stitch spider. And you can do spiders in half stitch. There'd be the exact same diagram for it. So what you can see here in terms of where the pairs have actually moved to, the pairs that are on the right cross over, the pairs that are on the left cross over. They work through each other diagonally. And so you can see here that there are 4 purple crosses. A purple cross is a cloth stitch. So if we number our pairs 1, 2, 3, 4 by the positions, pairs 2 and 3, the centre pairs, work a cloth stitch. So the pairs are always numbered in position, not where they started off from. So then we'd use the pairs that are here, which is now pair 1 and 2, and we'd work a purple stitch, which is a cloth stitch. We'd do the same over here, this time with pairs 3 and 4. They work a cloth stitch, and then we repeat what we started off with. Pairs 2 and 3 work a purple stitch, which is a cloth stitch, and then we put a pin in the middle, and then at that point we tension our work. Okay, so what would then happen is that we repeat that, and we do after the pin. So there's no twists in between. We do exactly the same thing. So let me turn my diagram around, reposition. So the second half of a spider, and remember this is a two-legged spider, so we've only got 2 pairs, but the same principle applies no matter how many legs. They all cross through each other. So after we've placed the pin, pairs 2 and 3 work a purple stitch, a cloth stitch. Then pairs 1 and 2 work a cloth stitch. Then pairs 3 and 4 work a cloth stitch. And pairs 2 and 3 work a cloth stitch. And then our spider is done, other than we need to make sure that the legs coming out have 2 twists on before we go to our next position. So I've talked you through the main bits of the pattern. I'm now going to go to my pillow and I'm going to work through the full piece of lace. So I will do the top. I'm getting the top set up, the first couple of spiders, and then I will show you in a further section of the video how to finish off. So just before I do take you into the pattern, I'm just going to show you 3 variations of the work. So this first one is the one that you've already seen. So you can see the definite stripes of the rainbow, albeit there's some bits of merging in it. This purple one, and the next one along, is actually exactly the same piece of lace, but worked in one colour. So what you can see here that you can't see nearly as clearly on the first one is you can see the little sections of spider. And remember, you count the legs by the number of pairs on each section going in. So that's got 2, that's got 2, that's got 2, and that's got 2 legs. So that is a 2-legged spider. 2-legged spider, each of the legs need to have 2 twists on before you go into the central part of a spider. But you can see it feels like it's a much closer area there. This final one is a variation, and it's got a couple of different variation bits to it. So the first thing is that the spiders look slightly different at the top, and that's because these spiders are worked in half stitch and not in cloth stitch, but they've got the same thing. They still fill the space. I've then replaced 4 of those spiders with a much bigger spider. So let's count the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 legs in each on each side of the spider. So that is a 5-legged spider. Now at 5-legged and with half stitch, which fills the space a bit easier, you probably don't want 5 twists on those legs. You might want some, or that many on some of them, but not all of them. So a bit of trial and error, certainly on the half stitch spiders. That feels quite a small area to be putting 5 twists on. So all of them in there were half stitch. So you can see that they are the same size, and actually you could use the same pricking to do both, or you could use a different pricking that's the variation of it. If you do want the pricking for this pattern, then please contact me via my website, and I will send you a PDF with the pattern, the 2 patterns, and it will just be the patterns and a working diagram on it. Anyone that's with me in a class gets the full written instructions too. But this video will tell you most of what you need to do. It's just good to have the paper to refer to, especially where to put colours and things like that. So I've got my working diagram over here, my pricking here. So as a reminder, we're going to start off with 2 diagonal rows, 1 in each direction, that are going to be in green stitches, which is half stitch, pin, half stitch. No extra twists or anything like that as we're doing it. So I'm going to start off at the top, and because I'm using the colours, I'm going to start off with 2 of the lightest purple that I've got. So I'm going to hang those on pins just above my work. So I will always hang above my work out of preference, and use them to make stitches rather than thinking, oh, do I hang my pairs open? Do I hang them side by side? So we're going to do half stitch, which is 1, 2, cross stitch, which is cross twist. I'm then going to put a pin in that top pinhole, and then I'm going to close the pin, cover the pin with cross twist. I'm then going to take those pins very carefully out and let the threads come down. So take that one out and pull it down. Okay, so that's our first 2 bobbins added as half pin half. So I'm going to do one side to start off with and then come back and do the other side. So let me move that pin and put it back in as a temporary pin. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a red pair. So again, along this whole diagonal, we're working half stitch. That's cross twist, pin, next pin down in the diagonal, cross twist for half stitch, then release the bobbins and they flow down. So after the red, I'm going to add orange on a temporary pin, and I'm going to do exactly the same as the red. I'm going to do half stitch, pin, half stitch. So cross and twist if you're used to thinking about crosses and twists, and push that out of the way. Now, when you're working this, be very careful that you are using every single pinhole as you go along. So then we get to yellow is the next one that we're going to add, which is half stitch, pin, half stitch, and release the pairs down. Okay, so next we're on green. I'm going to do half stitch, pin, half stitch, just put that down, and then release. And I am being very careful when I release so that nothing's popping over the top. The next one is blue. So I'm going to put those on the temporary pin and again do exactly the same. Half stitch, pin, half stitch, carefully release. And finally, we've got a dark purple. So you could choose to use different colours, or you could use all the same. So half stitch, pin, half stitch. Okay, so that's all our bobbins added on that side. So let me move most of those over, being very careful to keep them in order as much as we can. And it's quite easy because we can see the colours. And we're going to repeat that on the other side. So another temporary pin. I'm going to put the temporary pin at the side this time. It doesn't really matter where your temporary pin is, provided it's not too far away. So half stitch, pin, half stitch, release. So the next one's an orange. And again, it's half stitch, pin, half stitch, and release. And it's yellow. And then it's half stitch, pin, half stitch and release, green, half stitch, pin, half stitch, blue, so it's half stitch, pin, half stitch and release, and now the final one, which is the purple, the dark purple, half stitch, pin, half stitch. Okay, so let me spread those out a bit better, because I had to push them all out of the way. So you can see now the colours a bit better. So I'm now ready to work my first spider. So spider at the top has 2 pairs coming from each side. So not pushing them wildly out the way, but let's gently push the bobbins that we don't need out of the way. So we need the reds and the oranges. We don't need the yellows on this first spider. And I'm desperately trying not to keep all my threads the same length on this first spider. And in fact, the second spider, once I've gone past that, the threads won't move. But at the moment, everything is going to move all over the place. So it's best if we can just leave everything as they are, and then we can straighten afterwards. So this is a 2-legged spider, 2 legs on each side. So a 2-legged spider, because it's a small spider, needs to have 2 twists on each leg. So let's check the legs. So that has 1 twist. We're going to add 1 more. That has 1 twist. We're going to add 1 more. That has 1 twist. We're going to add 1 more. That has 1 twist. We're going to add 1 more. So what we're now going to do is we're going to do our cloth stitches. And remember, there are 4 cloth stitches, and we're crossing everything ultimately through. So we're going to work with our middle 2 pairs of the 4. So pairs 2 and 3 work a cloth stitch. So it's cross, twist, cross, tension. Then pairs 1 and 2 do a cloth stitch. So it's cross, twist, cross, and tension. Now it's pairs 3 and 4, cross, twist, cross, move out the way, and the centre pairs again, which is cross, twist, cross. Now you put a pin in, and at this point you can tension a bit, but we're going to tension again after the pin. So pin in, and you can see I'm not lifting pairs up to put the pin in. I'm gently sliding up the pattern until I get into that centre hole. And then what I do is I stroke. Sorry, I tipped there. And by stroking, I mean I'm spreading them nice and even and getting a nice even tension on them. So then I'm going to repeat that process. So I'm next going to work pairs 2 and 3 together and cloth stitch. Cross, twist, cross. I'm then going to do 1 and 2, which is cross, twist, cross. And then pairs 3 and 4, cross, twist, cross. And pairs 2 and 3, cross, twist, cross. That's the end of our spider. So we stroke and tension out. So this is a 2-legged spider. Coming out of the spider, we need to make sure that everything has 2 twists added to it, which I've now done. So that's our first spider worked. We now need to secure that spider. and we secure the spider with a short diagonal row of cloth stitch and twist, which is the red stitch, pin, cloth and twist, and repeat that down the diagonal. No need to do any extra twists. So in this case, we need the yellow pair that's sitting here along with its neighbour. So cloth stitch and twist. So that's cross, twist, cross, twist, pin, cross, twist, cross, twist, cloth stitch and twist. I'm now going to do the next pair because this is travelling down the diagonal. Cross, twist, cross, twist. Put the pin in. Just stroke them out. Cross, twist, cross, twist. Just to say that I don't work with spangled bobbins very often these days. When you're picking up a spangled bobbin, make sure that you're picking up that part of the bobbin, not that part. That doesn't give as good a tension and can lose tension. So I can't go any further down that diagonal because I've got nothing that's coming along the other diagonal. So let's go back to the yellow at the top of this section. And we're going to do the same thing. So it's cross, twist, cross, twist, pin, and tension, cross, twist, cross, twist, tension. Repeat, cross, twist, cross, twist, put the pin in, cross, twist, cross, twist. And this time we've now got two red in the centre, and there is one coming from each diagonal, so we are fine now to work that third stitch, which is the shirred. So that's cross, twist, pin, cross, twist, and that's now done. So we've encircled that little spider. So now these aren't moving, the oranges, the yellows and the reds. So what I can now do is I can now get all my bobbins the same length, because it's much easier to work when your bobbins are a similar length. You can see I am trying very hard not to touch the thread. You should be aiming to touch your thread as little as possible in work. There's nothing then transferring from your hands or anything like that. So they now are much nicer to work with now that they're not moving. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to move everything that's over this side out of the way, and I'm going to pin it behind a pin just to keep them secure and to help me. So I'm now going to move on to the next section. So this section here is another two-legged spider. So the first thing that we need to do on a two-legged spider is to check that all the pairs coming in have two twists on them. So this time we're going to have blue and green from this side, yellow and orange from this side. We don't need the red to work the spider. So one twist, it's now got two. 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 Okay, so we're now going to repeat that same working again. So pairs 2 and 3, we're going to work cloth stitch, which is cross, twist, cross, tension it. Pairs 1 and 2, cross, twist, cross, cloth stitch. And pairs 3 and 4, cloth stitch, which is cross, twist, cross. And then the centre pairs 2 and 3, cloth stitch, cross, twist, cross. tension. And you can see I'm not yanking or anything like that when I'm tensioning. I'm just gently moving and stroking and putting a pin in the centre pinhole. And then I'll just stroke again to check the tension. And you can see, because I'd tensioned everything and then just neatly slid up the pin, and actually I didn't need to lift anything to put that pin in. Does take a bit of knack, but it means that your bobbins are staying close to your pillow, which is all about helping your lace not to rise. So I'm now going to work the second half. So pairs 2 and 3 cloth stitch, cross, twist, cross. Pairs 1 and 2 cloth, cross, twist, cross. Pairs 3 and 4 cloth stitch, cross, twist, cross. Centre pairs 2 and 4, cross, twist, cross. Okay, and then tension everything up and stroke it. So we're coming out of the spider. Everything needs 2 twists on it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So let's just check our lengths of our threads. So that green one needs to come down a bit more. Now this one needs to wind up a bit. So when there's one that needs to wind up a bit, again, looking at the principle of minimising holding your thread, you find where the loop is, and I put all my loops on my bobbins, not on the top of the neck, because that's what they do in continental laces. There's no second section to them. Let's just do those a little bit more. And yes, I did hold the thread at that point, and the blue, and that's fine. So everything has got 2 twists, and it's ready for me. So doesn't matter whether we work this diagonal or this diagonal. This time I'm going to choose to work that diagonal first, because then I've got some work to do over here. So it makes sense to do it in those sections. So I'm going to take the red one and the orange one. So this one's we've had a line coming down the diagonal, and this time these are red stitches, which is cloth stitch and twist. So cross, twist, pin. And tension, and repeat. Cross, twist, tension. Push that one to one side, take the next one along the diagonal. Cross, twist, cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth and twist, cross, twist. Okay, so there's then no further that I can go along that diagonal, because I need something coming from the top. So let's go to the top of that little section, and I'm going to work cloth stitch and twist down this diagonal. So that's cross, twist, and obviously the pairs are going to be moving again. Pin, cross, twist, tension. Next one along, cross, twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist, cross, twist. And then the final one along the diagonal is cross, twist. And the diagonal is all cloth stitch and twist, pin, cross, twist. Okay, and what you will find is that cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth and twist is really hard to tension afterwards. So it's really important that you do tension at each stage. So we're now going to do the little moving down bit. So we've worked that section. We've now got to work this section, but we need to add some twists first. So the outside passive, we need to add another 4 twists too. So it's got one out, we're adding another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The one inside that, you add 2. 1, 2, and then we add nothing. We're now going to complete that diagonal. So it's cloth stitch and twist, pin, stitch and twist. And you know, you'll see again, I'm hardly lifting the bobbins off the pillow. Cloth stitch and twist, pin, tension, cloth stitch and twist. And then final one on that diagonal is cloth stitch and twist, pin, tension, cloth stitch and twist. So that is the whole of that diagonal now completed. So what we now do is repeat that on the other side. So let me move my working diagram for a minute out of the way. Let me just check it's back in. I can get it back into screen. Yeah. Okay, so we're now going to work this side of it. So again, there's nothing for the red to do at first. We're looking at the 2 legs from this side and the 2 that are sitting over this side. So let me, before I do the spider, check my twist. So every leg should have 2 twists on it. That's got 1 on it. Put 1 more on it. That's got 1 on it. Put 1 more on it. That's got 1 on it. Put 1 more. 1 on it. Put 1 more. Now it might be when you come to it that it hasn't got any twists on it. The twists are undone. So just make sure that you are checking about the 2 twists. So we're going to cross them through each other in cloth stitch. So first cloth stitch, second cloth stitch, third cloth stitch, fourth cloth stitch, and smooth out, and then put the pin up, and it's sliding the pin up to go in the hole, catch the hole, tension. Okay, and then repeat. Let me just lengthen those a little bit. So it's again 4 cloth stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've finished our spider. It's a 2-legged spider. All the legs need 2 twists. So let me add those 2 twists on. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm going to do the centre diagonal row next, just there. So that's cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. And as I've been doing it, I've been checking that they're tensioned. And you can see I'm constantly checking the length of a bobbin, and if I need to make them longer, I do. Cloth stitch and twist, pin, tension, cloth stitch and twist, tension. Okay, push those out the way temporarily. And you can see I'm being very careful when I'm pushing out the way. I'm not getting my bobbins to jump or anything like that. So the next one is the other diagonal. So that is those stitches there. So again, cloth and twist. So cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist, tension, cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. And then one final one, cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist, and tensioning constantly as I go, just with that little tweak and that little bit of stroking of your bobbins. So exactly mirroring the other side. The outside one we need to add 4 extra twists on it. It's already got 1 from the stitch that was at the top, which in this case is a half stitch. Then we're going to add another 2, and we don't need to add any there. So the one that's on the outside, we need to add another 4 on it. It's got 1 on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That bobbin just needs a little lengthening. The next one needs an extra 2. It's got 1 on it already, but we need to add an extra 2. The next one we don't add anything to. Okay, so we can now complete the rest of that diagonal. So cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. Repeat, cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist, and one final one, cloth stitch and twist, pin, cloth stitch and twist. Just do a little bit of lengthening of my bobbins. So that is our first 2 spiders, first 3 spiders done, a central spider and 2 outside spiders. And we've also, let me move that quickly out of the way, we've also done the enclosing bit. So this pattern now repeats. So we don't need to add those again, they're only added once. When we come to do this spider, we've already got the foundations done for it. And we just repeat exactly what we've done right down to the bottom of the pricking. So the video does have, if you look at the comments underneath it, it does have timing. So if you want to go back and watch that central spider for when you come to do the next one, the video will give you a link to it, which is just a hot link, which takes you to that point in the video. So before I leave you to get on with the rest of the bookmark, and then I will come back and do the finishing off at the end of this video, I want to touch about a slightly different way about thinking of your spiders. So we're about to do the spider that's here. So as before, everything needs 2 twists on it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So far I've talked about pairs and numbers of pairs. I want you to think about it now slightly differently. And that's because when we come to do other spiders that have got more legs, we need a rule to follow still. So that rule is almost the same as very similar to what we've had effectively before. So the rule is start at the centre for the first row. You are then going to, doesn't matter which direction you go, provided you do the direction consistently, you are going to work 2 cloth stitches to the left and stop. So let me do that. 1, 2. And it's 2 stitches because it's a 2-legged spider. So that pair goes out the way, and we're going to count back through the number of legs. So that's 2. 1, 2. So we're going to take the second pair, the pair that's now at the top, with the next pair to its right, assuming you're following the same diagonal as me. And we're going to do the same. This one is going to work through 2 pairs because the spider's got 2 legs in cloth stitch. 1 cloth stitch, 2 cloth stitch, tension. Okay, we have only got 2. So if we counted back through our 2 pairs, 1, 2, there's nothing else to go into that spider. If there was, then we'd repeat exactly the same thing. So if it was a 3-legged spider, we'd work through 3. We'd count back through 3. We'd take the next one along, we'd work through 3. Push to one side, count back through 3, take the next one, work through 3. And so on, depending on how many legs you've got. So that's why it was important to talk about twists and legs, because it's used an awful lot. So I'm going to repeat that for the second half. So we're 2 legs. So the pairs in the centre, this one is going to go through 2 pairs to the left in cloth. 1, 2, and stop. Count back through the number of legs, which is 2. 1, 2. Take the final pair with its neighbour. Work through 2 because we've got 2 legs. 1, 2. Tension. Count back through 2. No more pairs to be included in the spider because we've got 2 legs, so we're fine. We stop at this point. Twist twice, or the number of legs. So 2 on each side, 2 twists. 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's our spider done. So I've broke it down by numbers of pairs initially. Let me go back to my pointer so my finger's not getting so much in the way. So we did that on the first one. And now we need to start thinking slightly differently so that when we come to do bigger spiders, we've got the idea in our head. There'd just be another halo around that. So I'm going to stop the video at this point. I'm going to work the rest of the piece down to the bottom, and then we'll come back to show you how to finish off. So I've now finished all the lace on the pattern, no more pinholes left. So I now need to finish off on the end. So what's shown on the working diagram is that at the end, starting at the outside, the pairs come out in cloth stitch, because that's a purple stitch, through the first pair initially and twist. It's got a dash on it. And then the next pair comes through 2, so everything that's there and twists. The next pair through 3, everything that's there and twists. The next pair, and so on, until we've got everything in there. So let me do that on this side and then repeat it on the other. So let me just move that slightly out of the way. So cloth stitch and twist. Cloth stitch, cloth stitch, and twist. You can see when I'm twisting that I'm pushing that one quite away out, but the others I'm keeping close together. I need to keep the work ultimately as close to the actual work as possible. So each one in turn is coming out through everything in cloth stitch and twisting. And you can see it is pulling in quite well to the edge. So the next one's orange. Twist. And then red. And I am working cloth stitch, even though I'm actually changing slightly the way that I handle the bobbins, because I'm used to throwing my bobbins, and twist. I'm now going to repeat the same on the other side. When I'm doing this, I don't really want that to open out too much, so be quite careful of that. So repeat on this side. So start at the second pair along, through 1 in cloth. The next one comes through 2 and cloth. Take the next one in. So through everything and cloth. Yellow this time. And twist. And now the orange. So everything's being done in cloth stitch. One final one. So you can see how I've managed to keep that quite close and quite tight as I've gone along. So let's tighten everything up. So I'm putting tension on that while I'm pulling the others and making sure I'm not pulling them too much in. So I'm going to get everything out except my red pairs. Okay, so I've got a red pair on either side. So what I'm going to do is lift everything up. Pass one red pair through, the other red pair through. Sorry, the other bobbin through. Okay, and tighten. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's known as a collection knot. So that's right over left, once, twice, and pull. So it gives you a much stronger knot on the first part. And what that tends to do is it tends to grip much better, and then do the second half of a reef knot. I'm going to repeat that on the second side. So right over left, through, through, and pull. And do the second half of a reef knot. And you saw how well those knots held. And then you can just cut off to leave yourself a little tassel. So that's the end of our little Just Spiders bookmark.